Okay, I'm gonna read 17 and 18. I've tried to record this now like 6 or 7 times, and something keeps happening. So I'm just gonna roll with whatever happens and keep reading because there's a reason why the devil does not want me to finish this, but I'm gonna finish it. Okay, this 17 is called "The Calling Came Quietly." There was no bolt of lightning, no voice from the clouds, just a stillness one morning, deeper than usual, like something holy had tiptoed into the room and sat down beside me. I was sitting in my usual spot, my Bible open, coffee cooling beside me. The kids were still asleep. The house was quiet, but my heart was loud. Not with chaos for once, but with this overwhelming sense that God was trying to hand me something. A mission, a purpose, a torch. And I, the girl who once lit her world on fire just to feel something, was now being trusted to carry his fire. It didn't come with a step-by-step instruction. No angel showed up with a checklist. Just one truth pressed deep into my bones. Tell your story. All of it. The ugly, the miraculous, the parts that still sting, the parts that shine. I didn't want to, not really. I knew what people would think. I knew some would whisper, she's not qualified. Others might say she used to be a witch. Or she was in prison. Or she was a drunk. And you know what? They'd be right. Because I was all of those things. But God doesn't call the qualified. He qualifies the called. And apparently, I was next in line. The truth is, I was tired of being quiet. Tired of pretending that survival wasn't messy. Tired of hearing polished testimonies and wondering if there was still room at the altar for someone like me. Someone with bruises, arrest records, trauma-induced rage. I started writing, slowly, scraps of piece of paper, notes on my phone. One late night, it all just came pouring out of me like water. Then I realized this wasn't just a calling. It was a rescue mission. Not just for others, but for me. Every time I wrote a piece of my testimony, I peel another chain away. Every time I speak it aloud, I stomp another lie from the enemy into the dirt. Every time I let someone else see my scars, I remind them that scars mean you survived. You want to know what's wild? The ones who told me to tame my story, the ones who've never even seen real resurrection. I died more than once, spiritually, emotionally, and physically. But here I am, not because I got lucky, because I got found. Chapter 18. Beauty from Ashes. There's a scripture that says God will give you beauty for ashes, joy for mourning, praise for despair. I used to think that sounded like a sweet Hallmark card for church ladies in fancy hats. But now that I have lived that verse, my ashes weren't poetic. They were real. They were meth pipes, handcuffs, suicide scars, blacked out nights. They were blood stains on the story and rage in my prayers. But God, in his wild mercy, looked at all of that and said, watch what I can do with this. And he did. He turned the girl who screamed at heaven into a woman who sings in the storm. He took my pain, my absolute rock bottom, didn't want to live any more pain, and turned it into a platform. One where I now stand, trembling sometimes, but standing. It started small. A conversation here, a message there. People reaching out. I am in that right now. How do I get out? And I'd pause take a deep breath, and tell the truth. I didn't. He pulled me out. That was the beginning of my ministry. Not with a pulpit, not in a pretty building, just broken people handing each other pieces of light. My kids become my first congregation. My living room became my first church. Sometimes I'd find myself preaching without meaning to, packing school lunches and praying over their heads like a warrior, rebuking generational curses with peanut butter and jelly in one hand and a Bible verse in the other. And one day I realized this is ministry. It's not neat or rehearsed. It doesn't come with a degree or a title. It's raw. It's scared. It's covered in spit up and second chances. I started serving more at church. I started showing up early. I started staying late. Not for clout, because I couldn't believe I got to be a part of it, that I belonged. And I started dreaming again. Dreams I thought were long gone. Dreams of writing a book, of speaking to women in the thick of their battles, of creating safe spaces for the misfits, the former addicts, the one who still smell like smoke, but are walking out of the fire. I'm not perfect. I'm not polished. I still get scared when I speak. My voice shakes. My hands tremble, but I speak anyway. Because somewhere out there, another woman is drowning in shame, and she needs to know she's not alone. She needs to know that God still redeems, still restores, still resurrects. And if in all this pain, all these ashes can bloom into something beautiful, then let it grow. Let the fire that almost killed me because the light that leads someone else home.